Naturally, the cost increase is an issue, but it's not so dramatic. Also, if you look, for example, to Europe, you have the price increases, but still you had the import and export between the countries. And it's still a minor thing. And if you have increases here and compare these increases with other regions, it's still relatively, it's a high amount perhaps, but absolutely it's still very, very minor. And if you take China as a whole and you have the price increases, especially on the labor side, on the east coast, and then you go inland, then the price is still very, very good. You see, the point is, in global sourcing, you have to look global. So there are several regions in the world where you have to look at. One region, naturally, is Asia. Asia, you have to differentiate. You have China, you have Vietnam coming up, you have India growing fast, you have also a little bit Thailand, you have Singapore, you have several other regions too. But you also have to look for Eastern Europe. And with the currency exchange rate, especially for German company towards the dollar, now Mexico is going up. So you have to look and you have to adapt your strategy to the product you have. So this is basically a differentiation. So go China, in 80% cases, it's perhaps the good solution, but you have to look at it carefully and make a strategy before you go to China. Definitely speaking, for the next 20 years, China will be the hotspot in the world. But other hotspots like Vietnam coming up, also Turkey coming up in the region more to Europe, Romania is coming up, as I said earlier, Mexico is coming up. So there are some other regions, also South Africa, there are some products which are good there. And also in Africa, some countries have a chance to be in the global sourcing process. Yeah, naturally this is a concern. Nobody wants child work, nobody wants to work with some people who are held like prisoners, whatever. But nevertheless, I think this issue is much over-exaggerated in the news in Europe. Nevertheless, you have these issues, and once you have your source and you find a potential supplier, you have to look carefully exactly about these things and make sure in their contract later that these things are excluded and penalized. Some of the clients are not aware about the situation in China as it is. The expectations are perhaps a little bit too high. You can achieve very, very good quality in China, but this takes time. So basically my experience is that the quality issue is the #1 issue, and especially when you have the first samples coming up from a new product line, whatever, the samples are not in that condition as the customer wants it. So it takes perhaps a second, a third or a fourth sample, and it takes a lot of time to train and develop the suppliers to meet the requirements.